Hi, I'm Richmedia, and this is the Maclectic Minute. Today we'll be bench testing hard drive read and write speeds through 4 various interfaces. Here is a list of the contenders. First up to the plate will be Newer Technologies MiniStack V2 using the FireWire 400 port. The MiniStack also features a USB 2.0, which we'll test later. Second, we have the dual external serial ATA drive powered by the Seritech PCIX 4-port serial ATA controller. I have it hooked up to the G5 through the 133 MHz PCIX slot in the test machine, a Macintosh G5 dual 2.5 gigahertz with 4.5 gigs of RAM. So let's begin. First up to the plate will be the Newer Tech MiniStack V2 using the FireWire 400 interface. We're going to use the G5 dual 2 gigahertz configuration for the bench line in all tests. And let's begin. The first test is sustained read. The blue bars represent the bench line dual 2 gig G5, and the green bars represent the test drive, in this case the FireWire 400 MiniStack V2. And look at that go. Sustained write, it's not quite as good, but still not too shabby. There we're exceeding 32 megabytes a second. And there's the random read test. The FireWire 400 drive is actually exceeding the built-in dual 2 gig G5 machine quite handily, actually, on random read. And here's the random write on the FireWire 400 interface. And again, the blue is the dual 2 gig G5 with the internal drive. And as you can see, it's looks like somewhere around 34 megabytes a second, so that's not too bad. Alright, that concludes that one. The next test here is the G5. That's the internal serial ATA drive that is the stock drive that came with the dual 2.5 gig test machine. We're using the same bench line, and we'll hit go. And wow, the sustained read test is way up there. It exceeds 50 megabytes a second. And sustained write, now we're over 70. Again, the green bars is the test machine, and the blue is the bench line. And here's the random read. And the random read is also exceeding the bench lines handily. There we're up to over 50 megabytes a second. Random write. Whoa, looks like almost 78 megabytes a second at a half a megabyte file. So those are some excellent results. Okay, finally, we're going to bench test a drive I call Mr. Clean. This is the drive hooked up to the external serial ATA through the Firmtech Seritech controller card. And let's begin. Whoa! That is blazing fast. Here again we hit 80 megabytes a second at the what was that, 20K file size. I can't read it that good. So I would say, looking at it so far, it looks like the external serial ATA meets or exceeds the internal serial ATA drive, which is kind of surprising, I thought. The G5 has two 100 millihertz PCI X slots and one 133 millihertz slot. And it works best with the controller naturally plugged into the 133 millihertz slot. Okay, here's the test we've been waiting for. I dismounted the FireWire drive and unplugged the FireWire cable in the mini stack. Alright, I remounted it using USB 2.0. I'd also like to note that since the mini stack also contains a USB 2.0 and a FireWire 400 hub, there were no peripherals attached or plugged into the mini stack during any of these tests. Okay, so here we go. There's the sustained read on the USB 2.0 interface. And as you can see, we're meeting a whopping, it looks like maybe 22 megabytes a second. Compare that to when it was mounted under the FireWire, it was roughly 32 megabytes a second. And now we're on to the sustained write test. Good golly. I suspected there would be a difference, but I didn't have any clue that it would be this dramatic. Here we're not even exceeding, we're not even hitting 20 megabytes. Looks like 18 or 19 perhaps. Next is the random read test. That's not doing too bad on the benchmark so far. Okay, a 500K file, it starts to drop off, and I think that's about where we're going to stay. Again, under 20 megabytes a second. It may have hit 22 on the 16 meg file. And now we're on to random write. And we're up to maybe 18 or 19 megs a second. The winners of the Maclectic hard drive shootout are the external serial ATA drive powered by the SeriTech controller card, which hit 80 megs a second. Fantastic. Second place goes to the built-in serial ATA drive, which hit about 78. Third place goes to the mini stack V2 using the FireWire interface. And pulling up the rear was the mini stack V2 using the USB 2.0 interface, which barely managed 22 megs a second. But that's the report, and this is Richmedia for the Maclectic Minute. I hope you've enjoyed this week's presentation, and join us at www.maclectic.com, serving the Macintosh community since 1986.